Holy buffs, Batman. We have a lot to discuss. What's good? It's your boy Rico. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Duel, and we were blessed with a plethora of information, so many buffs, and to confirm, obviously what we were all thinking, it was either the Ice Flying Gym or the Dragon and Ice Gym. Well, with all the Dragon buffs, we now can confirm that is most definitely going to be Dragon and Ice Gym. So we need to talk about the buffs, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually head over to Reddit. Shout out to Richard, because this is it's formatted a lot easier for me to dissect the information and present it to you guys. So okay, there we go. So the first thing we got was Black Karrim and White Karrim. They are getting an MP buff. They are going from 2 MP to 3 MP, and why I think this is good. Well, think about it. You have a Black Karrim. Well, you have Reshiram, Zekrom, and the Karrim. And in order to get Black Karrim or White Karrim, you have to fuse one of your figures. So essentially, you only have 5 figures on the board. It makes sense because of their ability; they can move through mons. It makes sense for them to have more mobility and increase their MP. So I like this. However, do I think it's going to be utilized more in the meta? I don't know. Think about it. You have to have Zekrom. You have to have Reshiram. You have to have Karrim. That's half of your deck. Then what else are you going to have? Coco and 2 Alterias, or Alteria Zap Coco? I don't. I mean, they're gonna hit hard, but Zekrom and Reshiram on their own, they're not necessarily that great. I mean, they do have the ability to banish a figure, but they have to be on the board at the same time, and their attack is kind of lackluster because of all the buffs we're getting. All the damage buffs we're getting, their damage tier is kind of, it's like in the middle. So I think if they buffed Reshiram and Zekrom, their attacks, I think a deck like this would be more viable. And like Showtime was alluding to as well, the 9 weight at the beginning, it's like, I mean, if you get rushed, you're gonna have to have long throws. You're gonna have to, like, it takes too much time to set up this deck, in my opinion. Let's move on to the next one. We have Regirock, and okay, let's just talk about it. They changed the lock-on ability blue. Rather than specifying one Pokemon within 2 steps, all opposing Pokemon within 2 steps to spin to determine the success or failure of lock-on. In addition, lock-on has been improved so that its function, even if affected by a special condition. This includes your figures, I'm assuming, because it says all opposing Pokemon. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. All opposing Pokemon within 2 steps determine. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, all opposing Pokemon within 2 steps. I think it would be better if all opposing Pokemon on the field have to spin, because I mean, it's a 2-step move. You have to do the lock-on, and then you have to hit the multi-blast. So I don't know, man. I like where they're going, where you just don't select one Pokemon from two steps away. It's all opposing Pokemon within 2 steps. But that can only reach a maximum of like 2, right? Because I mean, if you have 3, you're surrounded. So it can only hit a maximum of 2, and then you have to actually attack, and you have to actually hit the multi-blast, which they've improved to 110, which is good, because 90 is not enough. 90 is not enough to KO. I don't even. Is there anybody have a video? Does anybody have any dual IDs where they actually successfully use the lock-on ability on any of the Regis? But 110 is gonna be good if you have the spheres, if you have the chains. It's gonna be viable. So I'm interested to see how this works. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be a lot, but I don't think a lot of people are going to use it. But it's gonna be a little more viable than what we have now. Registeel, the same thing. I'm interested to see what happens. Now, Dialga and Palkia, I'm glad they got a buff, because who were the first 2 Pokemon created? We had Arceus, the god, created Palkia, created Dialga, the Pokemon of space and time, and they were released from the beginning of this game, and they were absolutely trash. Absolutely trash. So let's go over what they did with Dialga. They changed the effect of the time distortion ability, not knocked out in battle, but moved to the bench instead. Now I'm curious, when they move to the bench, do they gain weight? Or are they just going to be like the Tangela unkillable deck? If they don't gain weight, I think it might be a little OP. However, let's talk about their will. They're changing the roar time 130 to 140 and the Dragon Claw 70 to Dragon Claw 100. Yes, they're going to be more viable. However, they still get absolutely wrecked by status condition and purple attacks. So I honestly don't think the buff is going to bring them back. I don't think that, but I could be wrong. So same with Palkia, change the space distortion ability. Instead of knocked out, you go to the bench, and they increase spatial rend from 120 to 130 and Dragon Claw. So again, I don't know. I don't know, but we'll see. Giratina. They changed Shadow Claw 130 to Shadow Claw 150, Hex 50 to Hex 70. All you have to do is give Giratina 2 MP. That's it. You don't even have to buff the attack. All you have to do is give it 2 MP. That's all you have to do. Zygarde form. Dragon Breath 110 to 130, Land Wrath 70 to 90, Speed or Extreme 50 to 70. All you gotta do is give him 2 MP. That's it. Same with Dragonite. Change Dragon Tail 90 to 120, Extreme Speed to 80. I don't think I like his purple. Like, don't you just jump over the figure and gain weight, or jump over 2? I don't remember. But you still have to use Dragonair, which is not hard to evolve. But you have to use Dragonair to get the Dragonite on the board, because nobody wants to run around with a 1 MP Dragonite. And Dragonite was so cool. Probably one of my favorite Dragonmons. Still. And he's still garbage, man. I just give him 2 MP. That's all you got to do. Give him 2 MP and give him an ability that does something cool. Like, that's all you have to do. Dragonair, Dragon Tail does not matter. 80 does not. I don't think it really matters, because either way, if you get KO'd, it moves. You get the evolution. 80. I mean, what's in that damage tier? Like, if you attack into Coco, but you have a large blue, or I mean large purple. I don't know how I feel about that. Now, Weavile, here we go. Ice Punch 50 to Ice Punch 70, Ice Shard 20 to Ice Shard 40, and added an effect. Opposing Pokemon within 2 steps spin. If they spin anything other than a blue, the effects of any sphere plates that have been used on those Pokemon are lost. Now, it's funny that they are kind of buffing these ice figures to counter the fire figures. Like, what do the fire decks have? They have the Flame Sphere. Well, if you have a Weavile and you have an ability, Pokemon within 2 steps, so Houndour, guess what? Your Flame Sphere absolutely means nothing. So, but again, I think it's funny how they're actually, like, ice is weak to fire, so I don't get it. But when there's 3 of these on the board, what is that? The Ice Punch is going to hit for what? 70, 90. Is it going to hit for 130 or is it 110? Because does the one Weavile alone count, or is it? I think it's going to be 110. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's interesting. I think they will be viable in ice decks again. Lapras changed the effect of the Ice Wall ability, prevent the Pokemon from being burned or frozen. Okay, and change Surf 70 to Surf 100. Well, guess what? These Houndours, if you have a Lapras or in an ice deck or in a water deck, I think you can have multiple Laprases. So here's the thing. They have this fire meta going on, right? So they're going to buff Lapras. I don't think it's going to be enough. Then they're just going to buff something out or come out with something that's going to make the fire decks go away. So I don't know. It's interesting, okay? If I don't have an answer, it's interesting. Druddigon. I think that's how you say it. Change Revenge 70 to Revenge 90. And I think Revenge does, if you have however many mons you have in the PC, you get plus 20, so it can hit for a maximum of 130 damage. And it has the Dragon Tail, which if you get KO'd, it moves them to the bench. He also has the, the Mold Breaker ability? I can't remember, but his attacks cannot be, they don't get affected by, like, Lunala or Swablu, so I still don't think it's enough. Flygon, dude, man, in my early stages of Pokemon Duel, I always rocked the Vibrava. I love the Vibrava, and Flygon, it was cool when he evolved, but yeah, the Dragon Claw, it was hitting for 70, just not enough. But now it's going to be hitting for 110 if you evolve him, and he still has the Draco Meteor, right? So if they spin, if it hits for, I believe, 70 or above, then you were KO'd. And then they also did the Avalog and the Bergmite, which I did not even know Avalog's ability, like you had to attack, because we never used his ability to move other than to take the goal. But you can choose to end your turn without engaging in a battle. So not only did they, because typically, I mean, they buffed both ice and the dragon figures, so I'm super excited. I cannot wait. Now, with all that being said, I want to show you guys a game that somebody from Twitter, he gave me this team to use, gave me this deck to use. So I used his deck and I played a couple games, and we actually got matched up against, you know what the deck is, the Ultra Beast deck. So here, this goes out to Daffy. Daffy, shout out to you. He gave me this deck, and he said, hey, try this out. This makes the game so chess-like. I have been running this deck for more than a month, sometimes switch to another. Set up, shut up wall, then move and attack with Zapdos, Virizion, Sableye for status, or look to swap spot. So when I saw this deck, I was like, you know what? This brings me back. Like, we do have the Vibrava. I miss using Vibrava. The swap spot, that used to be my signature. I miss you running Zap and Sableye, and he makes a good he paints a good picture on how to utilize the deck. The only problem is I don't have the Mega Aggron, so I'm pretty sure I just have a Max Revive instead. So I do have a match that I do want to show you guys. So let's actually switch gears. Let's go back here. We also have boosters that we need to open, so we'll open up those first, and then we will get into the match. So let's start. Oh, we should have started with the material ones, but that's okay. Purple first, and it is just an uncommon. It is a Noibat. Noibat is not bad when it's chained to 10, and mine is. All right, so now we have this material one. Can we please get the 50 Carmenite? Wait, can you? No, those are the black boosters. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ooh, did I get 2 rare cubes? Nice, nice, nice. Okay, now we do have this this rainbow booster, and I'm feeling good today. Feeling good today. It's Friday. It's the weekend. We are going to have a great weekend, right? Hope you guys are having a great weekend. And let's start it off with an EX pull. No, it's an Onyx. Fun fact: I actually got Onyx in Pokemon Quest. Will I continue that game? I don't know. Before we even get into this match, please, guys, let me know in the comments below which buff do you like the most. Please let me know. All right, give me 1 second. We're going to jump into this game. Be right back. All right, guys, we are back, and like I said, we are going up against an Ultra Beast deck, and we are going against the player by the name of W Yandi. So let's take a look at my opponent's deck. He's got like a steel-ish Ultra Beast deck. He's got the Bright Powder and the Metal Sphere. So the Metal Sphere is obviously going to buff the Solgaleo, Celestia, and Registeel. And you guys already saw my deck and what I'm running. Now, what I want to talk about real quick, though, is I miss my Vibrava being level 5. I mean, it is level 4. It's almost level 5, but I had my Vibrava. Like, my Vibrava was actually really, really good on my free-to-play account. But what I actually like about this deck is that this man, we all know what Celestia does, right? We shut him down last video, and we can shut him down again because when he attacks into Vibrava, your turn ends. Like, he can't just safely move up the board. Also, PSA, if you guys were ever wondering, if the opposing Pokemon comes to an adjacent spot next to Vibrava and Aggron, Vibrava's ability takes priority, and that's primarily because your turn ends. Whereas Aggron's ability is if you have the ability to attack, you have to attack. So just a PSA. I didn't know that, but I do now after I've been running this deck. So let's watch how this match unfolds. I open up with Coco. He opens up. He's being defensive, which I thought was kind of strange. I don't know why he was being defensive, but he brings up Solgaleo, and obviously we're going to bring up the Sableye. I miss the Sableye matchups. I really do. And then he long throws here, and for some reason I panic, and I move my Vibrava back, and I'm like, wait, why did I just do that? Because all he has to do is move his Celestia forward, and then I'm in trouble. But for some reason, he doesn't do that. And I'm like, all right, so now I can safely put Vibrava right here. He can't Rock Ride. There's nothing he can do, because if he does Rock Ride, he's going to get surrounded. That was a mouthful. I don't know why the other play. I don't know why I should put Vibrava at the front. I think my opponent made a mistake by not moving up Celestia. So I'm just going to bring up the Mighty Sphere, even though there's not much to come into. And my opponent Bright Powders into my Sableye. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that does not... I have like a 67% chance of like status conditioning you, and you're just going to get surrounded. So, like, that was such a risky play. That was so risky, and I was so upset. I was so salty that happened. And I don't have good matchups here. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, how? And of course he gets a Sunstrike still, and I'm just like, this game. And I think the best play here is I don't want to put Zap. You can't safely put anything into this Solgaleo except for the Sableye. And I'm like, he's gonna get status this time, please, and he does. He's burned. I'm like, sweet. Now he's got a huge miss, but I'm still I'm not out of the ballpark yet. Like, the only safe option for me here is to attack with Zapdos, and even if I do and I KO him, he gets the white tentacles. So I'm hoping to get his purple, but it doesn't happen. And then my opponent starts playing a little defensive. Like I said, I think this is the only viable plays that I can make. Call Signal twice. I'm like, can you please just hit that purple? And then he moves over the Celesteela, and for some reason I got scared. I didn't want him to Rocket Ride, so I'm like, I'm out of here. See you later. But I just want to stop. I want to talk about this. The Ultra Beast users, like, are so good at just bullying you, taking to the Ultra Space. But with Vibrava on the board, like, you can't, like, I miss the Shuppet wall. Like, I miss it. I'm like, wow, this is actually viable now, because the meta we're in now, it's just attack. But when you have these figures like Alolan Sandslash and the Vibrava, it, like Daffy says, it's so much more of a chess match, and I really like it. So he starts advancing, and I think I decided, yeah, attack here with Sableye, because I also want this thing status condition. I didn't want to attack with Zapdos. I can't safely attack into Zapdos because of his 150. But then my opponent DCs here, which I agree with this play. I mean, it's really the only play you can make. Coco is a threat because of the Vibrava on the left side, so he DCs here, and I get the Melee Wish. I'm like, okay, that is good. Now I have to somehow, what is the objective here? Oh, I swap, and I'm trying to KO this Reggie still, but he gets the Multi-Blast. It would have been nice if I would have got my Thunder Crash, but I don't. And my opponent attacks. He doesn't DC here. Does not DC, and I'm like, we can win this roll, but like, I don't win the roll, and I'm pretty upset about that. But what I do? I think I move Zap here next. I move Zap. Yep. And the goal is I attack him because I want to get something off of the board. I get the Ruse, but the good thing is he has these 3 Mons right here. I can paralyze these Mons. And that's what I do. And the reason why I safely did this is because my opponent cannot surround me the following turn with Solgaleo because of the Vibrava on the board. So he moves Vibrava over, and then we can safely move over. And I don't want this thing coming after me, so I'm gonna try and KO this thing. I'm like, he's got this large miss. Just hit an attack. And I'm like, how? How is this Solgaleo just hitting rolls like this? I was getting so upset. Now he's 1 MP, but I'm like, oh my god. What am I going to do here? What am I going to do here? Like, we have the only option here is to take out this Nihilego. And finally, he gets the white tentacles. And we're actually in a good position here because I know he can move my figure, but if he moves my figure, I can bring on a figure onto the board. So we're actually sitting in a great position here. And I kind of want to talk about this play really fast. I cover the goal, and the reason being is the priority is we need to get our Zapdos back. We need to get our Zapdos. I can't believe he hit that. Gets the T. Ugh, so annoying. But the priority obviously is to tag my Zapdos so I can actually move him. I need him. He's my figure. But if I were to tag the Zapdos with the Aggron, my opponent would have attacked with the Pheromosa and tried to get the cheese. So that's why we had to cover up there. But now I can bring on something on the board, and all I have to do is somehow survive here. And my opponent, right play to make, comes at me, and I'm like, oh no, here comes Call Signal GG boys, and Call Signal GG boys. So now that we got our Zapdos back, the thing is we can actually start moving on the board. Sableye is an okay goalie, but not when he's paralyzed. Like about 33% of his will is gone, and I'm like, okay. So now we're gonna apply some pressure. He moves back to Solgaleo. I take the entry point. We threaten game. My opponent either has to attack or goal block, and that's exactly what he does. He goal blocks with a Selly. I'm like, all right, now it's time to charge. And Sableye, you just need to do your thing, man. You just need to do your thing because Reggie still is confused, and we get that portion roll. I'm like, yes, let's go. Now we can cover I think that's the first time I took out a Mon. That's the first time I took out one of his Mons. And now the goal is obviously to bring the Zapdos on this side of the board. We have to get right next to him. And if we KO him, then we can we can surround the Solgaleo the following turn because he has to come for the goal. So we're slowly making our way, and Sableye is just he's holding on strong. I'm like, thank you, Sableye. Do it 2 more times. All you need to do is 2 more times, and we're good. Call Signal can roll into that stun poison because he's confused, and I'm like, let's go, let's go. Sableye is just coming through. And now my opponent has 2 Mons in the Ultra Space, and now I'm just gonna come a little closer because obviously I don't want to get cheesed. He would have actually had to hit call Signal twice, but we're just gonna prevent that right away. And oh my goodness, that could have been bad. That could have been bad. And I don't know why my opponent moved there. He should have attacked again with the Pheromosa, but you know exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna DC, and I'm like, please don't get that rendezvous. Please don't get that rendezvous. Please don't get the rendezvous. Hit your purple. Let's go. Even better. Hits the miss. And now all we have to do is survive a roll here. All we have to do is not hit Steel Wing. That's all we have to do. But, you know, RNG's RNG. And we get the roost. Thank God we get the roost. Now we can go in for this round. And that is GG, boys. So I'm going to continue running this deck. I mean, we only have like, what, 2 more days? 2 more days, 3 more days until the maintenance goes down. So I'm going to keep running this deck and see how well it works for me. I've actually only played, I think, 4 matches. But yeah, we're going to cut it there, guys. Please let me know in the comments below, again, which buff do you like the best? So until then, ladies and gentlemen, peace.